Hey guys, King of Triumphs here, to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my best anti-meta team for the Halloween Cup. This team does surprisingly well against the overall meta, being able to come back from losing leads like candy. And ironically, you're going to see something really broken here, and it's freaking hilarious. If you're just Toxicroak, Swing, Quillfish, and then you have Galvantula to close out. This team is very squishy. I'm going to mention that in a shoutcast, and its goal is to just do an obscene amount of damage. So because everything does so much damage, by baiting shields and just absolutely eviscerating your opponent, you're going to be able to go ahead and just blast your way into these win conditions and take your opponent's souls. So I have 6 battles here as well, so you can get a little bit of like a good rhythm of how it goes. But the thing about it is that it does feature a Swing Quillfish, which isn't really, I don't think, you might have a lot of candy for if you've been playing for a while, however, you might not have it as well. And yes, you're going to see in the shoutcast just how crazy this team actually does, again, despite losing the lead and against overall meta. But before we get started from your therapist mental health tip of the day, you can skip this by moving 2 minutes ahead of video or going to the chapters. So, since we're talking about anti-meta, the anti-meta to the meta of therapy is, there's this saying called "it is what it is," and I see it going around TikTok and freaking Twitter all the time. The people that promote "it is what it is" are downright freaking stupid. And not just as, like, not just this, like, this article is actually from militaryleader.com, but as a clinician, it does pretty much the same thing, at least from my perspective as a mental health therapist. So the thing about it is what it is stupid, because what happens is why it's stupid. The problem is what it is, it advocates responsibility, shuts down creative problem solving, and concedes defeat. You're basically lying down to whatever the hell's in front of you. If you have mental illness, it is what it is basically gives you an excuse for you not to go to therapy or to go work out and exercise and do whatever you can to remedy yourself as far as self-care, to where you can overcome whatever's going on with you, or even just go ahead and solve the problem outright, or create a step or battle plan so that you can go ahead and get it done. It's the problem, what it is, admits that the problem is too hard and suppresses the attitude that leads to creative unseen solutions. And it's also terrible for your mental health because, like I mentioned, you literally just sit there and let it cook. And when you let things cook like depression, anxiety, that's how it turns into long-term mental illness. Because guess what? That stuff doesn't go away just because you tell yourself it is what it is. And it just grows and evolves, like I mentioned. So take a look at this article. Yeah, it's a military article, but also as a perspective from, like I said, from mental health therapists, this actually makes a lot of sense, and it really does, because you're not dealing with the problem outright. You're basically bending over and admitting defeat, which is crazy. So that is the anti-meta to what you should do. And without further ado, this is my best anti-meta team for the Halloween Cup, and let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. You got Toxicroak onto Golbat. So this is terrible. You should lose this lead. This is a terrible lead. So your safe switch is going to be his Swaying Quillfish. And this is why this game is garbage. For some odd reason, his Swaying Quillfish's animation is broken. Completely broken. It can't even move. Look at this poor thing. Like, I just can't. Like, anybody that tries to justify Pokemon Go nowadays, just look at this, and they're gonna look at you like, wow, really? Like, that happens? It's like, it's so funny. Anyways, the Swaying Quillfish is it is actually a top safe switch. It's like top 6, I believe. I use Ice Beam instead of Aqua Tail because with Ice Beam, you do a better matchup against things like Golbat. And as you see, Ice Beam still hits like a truck. So for 2 Ice Beams, all it takes to kill Drapion. We win back switch, and with that being said, that's actually great because now I can line up that Golbat against my Galvantula. This was a pretty simple battle. Just win switch, win alignment, and then behold, that's literally all it is. So I send in Galvantula, and then my opponent is going to get zapped down. This is likely going to be a Poison Fang. I'll have to shield the first one. And I have almost two Bun Bombs ready on Toxicroak. So this is pretty much game over. I'm going to lunge because they're likely going to shield since there's no reason to keep 2 shields. You don't want to keep your shields too, like if they call that, then you have Balls of Steel, but with it being the late game battle, you don't want to keep all your shields. Because if you're wrong, you die, and then I just have a bazillion energy for the next matchup. I was able to farm down Golbat. Now I just have to discharge this, and now I can literally get to 2 Mud Bombs. So nothing Stun Tank has to offer will actually KO me. Flamethrower won't kill. Crunch is resisted. So just double up on Mud Bomb, and that's game. So They don't even, they are not even double up, just one Mud Bomb will kill because they're down both shields, but yeah. Yeah, this is a very, I didn't think his Swaying Quillfish would actually be that great of an anti-meta pick. And I was like, wow, with Ice Beam, this thing's actually pretty dangerous. Of course, with Ice Beam, Jellicent will wall you. However, it's a really big toss-up because Jellicent's been kind of killed as far as this meta goes in favor of Toxapex. You see a lot more Toxapexes running around than Jellicent. For some odd reason, because Jellicent is still really good, but Jellicent was, if you were around during the last Halloween Cup, Jellicent was definitely a lot more present. As you see here, all I'm going to do is switch into Swaying Quillfish, and then I can go straight Shadow Ball because of Poison Fang. So, you also win CMP. Here's the thing that sucks. Avalanche does a ton of damage. So if you look over here, I make the great mistake of, I'm not going to shield here, but I'm going to fire the Shadow Ball to take him to the zeros. So this is actually very bad. It's actually terrible right now. I'm going to fire the Shadow Ball, and as you see here, they shield, and then they're going to farm me down. So now I have a Froslass with a bazillion. I have Froslass with an energy lead, and I have a shield. So this is actually very terrible. The saving grace is that Nidoqueen is in the zeros. They try to Shadow Ball me. I would have Avalanched here because now I can overcharge a little bit and then fire on discharge. So if they fired Avalanche, this would have been the other way around, and I still have a decently healthy Galvantula. So, as you see here, I combo in. This was dirty. I combo in to catch my opponent because they send in Nidoqueen right away, and they're gonna, like, that was just dead. I was like, don't send in Nidoqueen. So when they sent in Nidoqueen, I just comboed in. So if you're fast enough, you can pull stuff out like that, but it also needed to be in the zeros. Did I plan that? No. It's just, I saw them send in Nidoqueen, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to really do this real quick, and then poof. So we're going to fire off this Mud Bomb, and then this is pretty much game. That was a really sweet, like, that, if you have fast reflexes, that's the stuff you can do. But, yeah, my opponent just top lefts at this point, because they already know it's game over, so. And they're dead anyways, so, yeah, I thought that wasn't a Shadow Drapion, then I was like, oh wait, that's a Shadow Drapion, so I'll die to one Mud Bomb. We have Toxicroak versus Sableye. This isn't a terrible matchup for you, but the issue is that Sableye can hit you a return, and Sableye actually wins this outright. Because even though Foul Play is resisted, Toxicroak isn't the thickest boy on earth. He's got pretty dang, look, them thighs don't lie, and as you see, I just noticed it right now, Toxicroak's got some really big thighs. It really does, except the dude's, yeah, except you don't have any calves, so it's kind of interesting. But if you actually no-shield this, as you see here, if they fire Volplay, if you have good enough IVs, you can actually get it to where you'll 1 HP in a dream like this, and you can just win alignment outright. So, they send in a Tentacruel. All I have to do is send in Galvantula. Galvantula has a great match against Tentacruel, and then we drain out to Drapion. I'm going to fire off Lunge and then just send in his Swaying Quillfish, and then straight Ice Beam. Just because there's no point. Just say both shields for Galvantula. Galvantula in 2-shield does really well here. You could use the Galvantula, you can use Toxicroak and his Swaying Quillfish to break shields, and then Galvantula can try to close out. But the last match, like I mentioned, you could do insane things like that. And the great thing about his Swaying Quillfish is, unless they're carrying Aqua Tail, you actually wall Drapion. So Drapion with no, and as I say that, there's Aqua Tail. And as you see, the regular Drapion doesn't do too much damage. And just how ridiculous his Swaying Quillfish. Look at this dang thing. Y'all, like, the dude that animated his Swaying Quillfish was probably just like, you know what? I'm gonna go home for the day. They probably all noticed this dude isn't working anyways. And lo and behold, here you go. It looks absolutely ridiculous. Like, I can't even, like, fathom, like, what the, like, dude. It's not moving at all. It's funny. It's just freaking hilarious. They sent in Tentacruel. This is game over already. I have 2 shields. All I have to do is pretty much zap down this Tentacruel, and I could even Volt Switch down, or I could just double up on Discharge and just KO my opponent. I opt for the earlier play. I'm going to fire Discharge, and then I'm going to just go ahead and Volt Switch down. So, one Volt Switch actually doesn't even kill a Tentacruel outright, because, and then what we're going to do, actually, I think, did I get debuffed? I think I did. Then I'm just going to fire Lunge. I just have to shield this, fire Lunge, and then it's game over. I don't even need a fire move at this point, but it's what it is. My opponent might top left just to save some time. Unfortunately, they do not. So, and that's game. But yeah, the whole, I've seen double poison, like double water poison, Tentacruel end Toxapex, and my brain is like, why, dude? I don't know. Halloween Cup is very weird right now. Got Nidoqueen on Toxicroak. The problem is this isn't a super convincing win for you. When you get Nidoqueen versus Toxicroak, they can try to choose to straight Poison Fang you down, which is actually pretty terrible. And as you see here, they send in a Scizor as their Safe Switch. I'm impressed. I like Scizor Safe Switch. Unfortunately, I have Galvantula, so we're going to fire this Volt Switch, and they didn't fire right away, so it allows me to get a Volt Switch through. That or that little pause glitch they have allowed me to get an extra Volt Switch through. So I'm actually not going to shield anything here. I should be able to live this Night Slash because they're not rocking a Shadow, and then because Bullet Punches are resisted, I'm able to live with Shield Advantage. I don't know why they swapped out of Nidoqueen in general. Nidoqueen doesn't have a bad matchup against Toxicroak if you're rocking... Well, that's if you're rocking the Shadow. If you're rocking the Shadow, you can actually Poison Fan your way in the 2-shield scenario. With the regular one, not really. You could still play out... And they have a Wormadam. So because my opponent decided to swap out and lose Switch, they actually lost this matchup. What my opponent could have done was stay in, take out, try to do their best to take out my Toxicroak, and then have my Golbat line up. I mean, not my Golbat. No, I have my Galvantula line up against this thing. But my back row does really good against Wormadams. Well, not really good in consideration with Galvantula. Galvantula doesn't do too great against Wormadam because it's super squishy. But as you see here, we're good because Hisuian and Qwilfish resist. Like, it double resists. Well, it double resists Psychic, but it's only single resist because of the fact that it carries the Poison type. But as you see here, it's still decently. It can take these. It's taking pretty hard right now, and it still gets to, it's literally balling out on our opponent. Shadow Ball goes out, takes out the freaking poor Wormadam, and then all we have to do is Ice Beam for the victory, unless they want to just top left. So my opponent would have done much better if they just sacked their Nidoqueen in the lead, or tried to just win the matchup outright. And now this is a terrible lead. Haunter versus Toxicroak, and it literally lags. This is why I don't care about Legend anymore. I lost 2 4-1s today. Actually, no, a 4-1 and a 5-0. Because my charge move button wouldn't register for the first one. And the second one, this glitch happened right when I could fire a game-ending Mud Bomb. Yes. So, and I don't even know. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know anymore, guys. Like, that's why, like, I'll try, but, like, I'm not gonna, like, lose sleep over freaking this. Like, it's so bad that it's super bad, and I don't know who, like, I really don't know. Obviously, they don't take pride in the work, and esports is a joke right now because Pogo PvP doesn't really, like, they're literally suffocating to stay relevant, if we're even relevant in the esports world, because we're not even like a tier 3 esport. We're like the bottom of the totem pole. And as you see here, bottom of the totem pole, Golbat gets iced, and now I can get to another Ice Beam if they don't fire here, but this is pretty much game over. I have Galvantula on Shiny Haunter, and I have a whole Toxicroak. Here's the problem, though. I don't want to take all this damage. So I'm going to go ahead and farm down this Haunter. We're going to hope that this 2 shields with Galvantula can win us the matchup. I still have a sack in Toxicroak as well, so I might be able to create some kind of win condition if I have to sack, but I don't even need a sack because that's a Togekiss. So all I have to do is double up on Discharge, and then that will win us the match. So... terrible lead, literal freaking terrible lead from hell, and then we're able to come back thanks to Hisuian and Qwilfish Safe Switch, which is actually, like I mentioned, it's pretty freaking amazing. You lose the lead, you Safe Switch into Hisuian and Qwilfish, and it does incredible. It does incredible against a lot of things. You can run Aqua Tail instead of Ice Beam, but I just like Ice Beam because, as you saw against Golbat, it does big damage if it lands. Plus, if you're going to get walled against Azu, you're going to use Shadow Ball, straight Shadow Ball anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And as you see here, we got Froslass onto Galvantula. So I had to swap out. Losing the lead sucks, but hey, you know what? Maybe we could create some kind of win condition. I'm going to lunge here, and I'm going to try to debuff and bait the shield from our opponent, and we do. This is great because even though I'm not going to be... even though I'm not going to take all this damage, I want to try to bring them to the zeros and try to create some kind of win condition here. So I'm going to fire Discharge this time. If they don't shield, this kills Froslass outright if they want to come out with shield advantage. So, as you see, we call the right move for our opponent, and we get a Mawile. So, because Mawile isn't rocking Fire Fang, that's why I like Fire Fang Mawile still, because you have all those bug types running around. Now, because they have Fairy Wind, unfortunately, this Mawile is going to have to eat a Discharge, because they can't farm me down. And now, I have Mawile against... Okay, this is still terrible, to be honest with you. I can send in Toxicroak because all I have to do is Mud Bomb down for the victory. Or I can try to go ahead and farm this thing down because Mawile isn't going to be... Well, it can get to a player up, but one player up won't kill here. So they actually have Iron Head, and that does a ton of damage. And as you see here, I'm able to punch down poor Mawile, and then I'm going to have a Qwilfish in the back. So all I have to do is Mud Bomb here, and then I can go for the Shadow Ball. So... this is game. even though I lost the lead, as you see, that winning that process matchup allowed me to win. So, again, Hisuian Quillfish is a fantastic safe switch. You lose the lead, you safe switch into Quillfish, and then you have Galvantula and Toxicroak close out. This is a very glassy team. So it's just take shields and just do a bunch of damage. That's basically what and it does really well against the meta. So I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. Hisuian Quillfish is broken. Niantic is going Niantic. And I hope y'all enjoyed the battles again. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. Halloween Cup's getting boring. Or at least from when I put this team together, I was just like, and I started using it, I was like, I find no fun in doing this anymore. But I do it anyways because I appreciate y'all, and you know what, I might as well just keep on going. But I just have to play, with future seasons, I'm just going to make it an ace and just keep battling anyways, or just play on my spare time. But I'm definitely not going to go as hard as usual because, Sword and Shield is coming out. I mean, not Sword, Scarlet and Violet is coming out. I'm actually going to, after I'm done working out, I'm actually going to go to GameStop and reserve my copy down there. The one down here, and then I'm going to, they have like a 9 o'clock release, so I'm going to go pick it up, and then when I get back home, I'm going to play it for a little bit, go to bed, and then wake up and play it again because it's a Friday. So I'm going to have a lot of fun when I play Sword and Shield. So I can't wait to create Scarlet and Violet. So I'm going to have a lot of fun when it comes to creating content for that, and then PvP is going to go away for a bit, at least in my life. Not go away. I'm going to create PvP content still, but just basically going to be teams and analysis. That's it. So I'm going to try to focus. I'm going to try to focus with both. So it's going to be a lot better, especially with how stale Pokemon Go PvP is going and just how broken it is. It seems like what happened is that when they changed the Halloween map, that's when it broke everything. Because everything was semi-okay. I would say semi-okay, but like there was still like the charge move, when you're tapping and like the game freezing, and then all that fast moves going through and just adding up, causing you to lose count and possibly dying to CMP, which has happened to me more times than I would like. It's enough. It's enough. So the game's not gonna be fixed anytime soon. World is a joke because we're the only game that doesn't go into a Pro League standpoint or even like a point system to where you qualify for Worlds. No, you win one regional team and go. So Pokemon Go PvP, our esport, is literally pay to compete. It's pay to compete. You know, in regular esports, your org pays for you to go to events. Your orgs pay for you to go to lands. Instead of the other way around where Pokemon goes. So if you have the time, go ahead, but no, I'm not going to. And another thing, I also started coaching wrestling again. Yes, I coach wrestling at the high school, so I'm a mental health therapist for an elementary school and a junior high school, and my junior high school kids are going to go to the high school that I'm coaching at. So now I love coaching, and I'm going to teach my kids how to fight, and I find a lot more do something fulfilling in life. It makes you a lot, it's a very much fulfilling role, so my kids will remember for like years on end, and they're like, oh, I had a good coach, so, and I know I'm a damn good coach, so. And plus, we have a huge team of like 40 wrestlers, so I'm looking forward to it, and I really do enjoy y'all that stick around and deal with my content every day. So I do something different, but hey, if I have 4K subs, I'm doing something right. I might have the biggest in the world, but hey, you know what, like I said, I'm doing something right, and I do appreciate y'all. And with that being said, good luck on your Go Bye Leagues, and I will see y'all on the next video.